This one's going to be very different to my usual video. This is really just emphasizing, I suppose, what I'd put in the last video for the kind of moon clowns. I've actually gone and taken a little bit of time to review some of the posts during the periods that we were getting laughed at for, hey, you're going bearish on this particular move, and what these guys were actually saying. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this guy Moon Carl. The first post takes me back to March, actually around the same kind of time period where we were calling the blew up the rocket post, with expectations of it dropping from the 62k at the time all the way down then to where we were anticipating this to be at 28k before any form of move up. Okay, so let's start with Carl and use the first
Hello
video.
guys and welcome to the moon. My name is Carl and I'm going to bring you this cryptocurrency video, and I'm coming to you here from the marina in Dubai. And before I get into the interesting question in this video about the Bitcoin price and where it's going, I just want to give a big shout out to all of you guys who are a subscriber to my channel. I just literally yesterday reached 300,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. And I looked this morning and I already have like 304,000, which is absolutely mind-blowing. Like, volatility never touched me again. I never care about volatility more than like, of course you can trade it, you can make money off the volatility, which is absolutely amazing. This is something that we do on my channel. But if you're also a hodler, which I hope most of you are, I mean, you can be a hodler and a trader at the same time. Bitcoin is going to 100,000 and Bitcoin is going to go to $300,000 probably this year. I was going to be right, but I, of course, at the end I'm always very confident that this is going to play out. So because I know the fundamentals of Bitcoin. So the question is, of course, when are we going to reach these levels? Well, we've reached 50,000. 50,000 was already a huge level, a massive level actually. It's a psychological barrier. And from here on, it's only double to 100,000.
Okay, so the logic of this guy with 300,000 plus followers at the time, financial advice this guy's given is we're hitting 300k by the end of last year, and it's only double from 50 to 100. Wow, no shit, Sherlock. This guy is insane, and how people follow along to these kinds of comments, it's beyond belief. So I think the thing is, you've got to understand from a fundamental perspective, yes, there's some institutional interest in coming into these kinds of instruments. However, institutional players doesn't always mean price up. You've also got to ask yourself the question, if the retail are the guys currently buying this, who's selling? If you look at the COT data, you'll clearly see the picture being painted as to institutional leverage funds selling off into the retail hype. Okay, so it's easy picking for the guys with deep pockets. Okay, here's the second video.
In this video, guys, I literally found the most bullish chart that I've ever seen before for Bitcoin. I'm gonna show you why this indicates that we have another 200 days of bullish price action in this cycle before we reach the top.
Okay, so this particular post was put out in April, and as you can see from my particular chart, April we had 200 days of bullish momentum to come, and we dropped from above 50k all the way down to 28. This is actually scary that these guys are given any kind of kudos as analysts on any form of social platform. Here's the third video, and this is another best thing in the world. You'll actually see the date on this one, and this was in May. I've just highlighted on the chart this particular call. We're actually looking at the 15th of April being the high, and then basically down we've got the 18th of May, followed by the 23rd of June being the absolute bottom from this move down.
In this video, I found this fantastic chart showing us that if you compare the previous bull cycle with this bull cycle and compare them according to the halving, then we can see that we have seen nothing yet. This bull cycle can still take us all the way up to $300,000 before the end of the year.
Okay, so again, $300,000, emphasis on $300,000 by the end of the year. We clearly didn't see that. We were actually more than $200,000 off this particular call, and it's just re-emphasized. So I understand there's a lot of hopium in this market. A lot of retail traders are currently sat there with red all over their screen, buying at 64, buying at 50, buying at 40. I think the problem is, guys, without understanding the technical analysis into this, the roadmap for us was written back in March last year. We told you we were actually at the move down from the weekly 3 to 4. We were coming up for the weekly 5. The weekly 5 would therefore paint the monthly 3, and the monthly 3 would take us back in then to another corrective move over a longer period of time. Okay, so let's then skip forward a couple of months. First of all, we've got a real insane couple of calls which were highlighted by another analyst. This one is actually Plan B. And in this video, Plan B is talking about his stock to flow model being very simplistic. Just take a listen.
Today's guest is Plan B, an institutional investor turned Bitcoin investor and the inventor of the stock to flow model. Tell us how you came to create the stock to flow model and what that is.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I missed when I entered the space was a valuation model. For every asset, we have a valuation model for equities, for all the derivatives. Not for gold, by the way. That has the same problem as Bitcoin. There's not really a valuation model, although you can look at the mining costs of gold, and that's what most of the models that were there for Bitcoin were as well. So what I tried to do was make some fundamental case for why Bitcoin has any value at all. Because for me, and just gave me a rough, I must say it's a very rough model, but it gave me a rough indication that Bitcoin should be, well, worth somewhere in between silver and gold and going towards gold, since it now has the same stock to flow and the scarcity as gold. So yeah, very interesting discovery.
Okay, so the issue for me with the stock to flow model as a whole is I've been trading over 20 years. I understand and appreciate a lot of different instruments, act differently. The issue that you have with Bitcoin is that the lack of regulation, the kind of larger scale institutional, you have investors and you have traders. Okay, so you have hedge funds and you have things like VCs that have backed Bitcoin based projects. So there's a lot of money splooshing around there, but it's all driven by then the demand. Now, if we look at what was done from the, again, COT data, you look at where the institutional, the hedge funds, the private equity firms were acquiring Bitcoin. This was back down at a very, very small number. So, sub $5,000, which means the move up that we saw, the monthly 3 gives the perfect opportunity for profit taking. Monthly 3 to 4, you'll see from the COT leverage funds data that the selling still far outweighs the buy-in. So the accumulation hasn't really truly begun yet. Of course, you're going to get some institutional investors still holding some Bitcoin from a very, very low price. However, what you're actually likely to see is the profit taking to reaccumulate around a value area. I've covered this in several streams. I've actually gone over this on a couple of different posts. I've talked about the value area. It's something that we do teach within Discord, but it's something that really, really needs to be emphasized again. So let's skip forward a couple of months, right? And we look at the chart then from this particular move. We then have a couple of months further forward, we start reaching these new highs. We have, first of all, this MMC crypto, as well as Plan B, looking at 98K to 275K from November through the end of the year. So here's another little clip on Plan B.
98K November prediction, 135K December prediction. Plan B says Bitcoin is going to the moon.
So Bitcoin going to the moon, 135K by the end of the year, and the price was, at least 90K off that level by the end of the year. Okay, so problem being, again, fueling this with pure hopium isn't really the best way to make money in the crypto market. Following these fake gurus, these social media influencers, these guys are making more money from selling Plan B hats and affiliate links through brokers than they are trading at all. So watch this particular guy talk about the breakout signal, and you'll never believe this was actually on the 9th of November. Okay, the 9th of November, looking at the chart, was actually one day off that all-time high. And this was actually a breakout signal being called on the 9th of
Today for the
November.
Bitcoin price. And yes, look at this title, think I'm crazy, but hear me out. If you wanna do me one favor, hear me out. Watch this video until the end. This chart is the chart we are going to talk about today. And I wanna talk about why the 275,000 US dollar signal just flashed for Bitcoin, guys.
Okay, so $275,000 for Bitcoin was actually flashed at the 69K high, and we dropped down to 32K. Again, there's no form of analysis in this. This is just fueled by hope. This is something that is gaining followers based on how ridiculous these calls actually are. So whether it's Moon Carl, this MMC crypto, Plan B, they are taking retail traders for a ride and basically filling up their own bank accounts based on nothing other than pure outright nonsense. Okay, so the next video is, again, let's go back to Carl with a similar call around November, and this is what he had to say around this period.
And that's why yesterday I also made a video telling you guys that I am adding millions to my long positions.
So now he's adding millions to his long positions when the price was around 68K. He probably over leveraged if he's trading at all. Probably not. I think the trouble being is that this is what's selling to the retail. This is what's fueling the whole Bitcoin sentiment right now. And as a long-time professional trader, it's kind of like shooting ducks in a barrel. This is easy pickings when you know what you're looking for. Okay, so we'll skip forward. We've actually seen some other calls. There's a guy, Crypto Zeus, where his call was actually something like $1 million for Q1 2022. We still have a little bit to go. I couldn't even get that on the same chart. We still have a little bit to go by that particular time. Plan B's expectation for 135K by December, that clearly didn't play out. You can see we've actually got a massive divergence from expected results to reality. Okay, so I think the thing is understanding that the roadmap is there. We are not in a doom and gloom type market. This isn't the end of Bitcoin. I do think we will get one extra wave up for the monthly 5, but you really have to understand the monthly 4 is not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be pleasant, especially if you're a holder that was buying based on these guys calling the calls that they were calling. Okay. We then have, I guess, the logic and the reasons behind these kinds of calls. The individuals in the videos that we've just emphasized are basically making money on hats. They're making money on broker calls. Now, the way that that works is that if you click on the affiliate link on their site, they'll actually receive payment for any kind of money you place into that broker or exchange. Now, in some instances, you could get a like-for-like entry price, meaning these guys put in, say, $500 into an account. You have to match fund that $500, meaning you're out of pocket by 500. And the reality is 250 or more is going directly into the broker, which then pays the affiliate. That affiliate is pocketing at least $250. I have seen this as high as 100%, which means you are match funded 500. They know you're going to lose your money because ultimately the broker is betting against you. So when you start looking for brokers, you need to understand where the brokers are domiciled, what jurisdiction, what kind of coverage and aspect of controls that you have. If you put money in, how easy is it to get money out? And ultimately, when these guys are taking the other side of the trade, they will even go as far as to sell you data to larger traders, larger institutional traders that are basically using bots and algorithms to hedge against your trades based on the platform that you've signed up for. So you're basically putting money into the bigger guys' pockets. You're putting money into the social media influencers' pockets. You're paying the broker for the privilege, and you're losing your shirt all at the same time. So watch out for comments, scams, and ultimately sales pitches that sound a little bit like this one.
Guys, if you scroll down below this video, then you can claim $3.5 thousand in bonus on Bybit, $1.6 thousand in bonus on Phoenix, and on Prime XBT you can claim $1,750 in bonus. This is a new bonus they just launched right now, and you have to use this voucher code to be able to claim this 1.8K bonus on Prime XBT.
Okay, so if you're making enough money trading, you don't need to advertise brokers. You don't need to request smash this and like this and follow me. Ultimately, you need to understand these guys are not making money trading. They're making money by selling to mugs. And that's all it is. Now, if you have followed these guys, you've taken the advice from these guys, you've actually bought in and you're currently holding some red bags, I think this particular last post sums it up very nicely. You can see from the sadness in his eyes, he genuinely thought Bitcoin was to the moon.
Welcome back to Cryptos Are Us. I am George, and we're all fucked today. That's what happened. Bitcoin holders got fucked today.
And there you go, guys. So I think for me, that's the end of this particular video. It's a little bit different to my norm, but I really wanted to emphasize what we'd covered in the last post and why I don't think it's a good idea to follow these crypto clowns. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you in the next proper stream. Thanks for watching.